Michelle Vesna reporting for Patriot Soapbox 24/7 live on YouTube, and we are standing in front of a mall on the outskirts of Montreal where we have come to find out what collateral damage the COVID-19 pandemic has brought to small businesses around the country. Since July 18th, 2020, wearing a mask in all public spaces was made mandatory throughout the province of Quebec, and we have breaking news this morning. Breaking news as of today, September 12th, 2020, the Quebec government has announced that it will fine non-mask or improper mask wearers up to a maximum of $6,000. Meanwhile, Montreal public health officials have launched a new website app to track possible cases of COVID-19 throughout the city. As of yesterday, Quebec has now 64,463 confirmed cases of COVID-19. According to reports, 5,774 people have died, and the recovery rate at this time from COVID-19 is over 88%. It's a little afternoon here, so let's put on a mask and see if we can talk to anyone inside. Yeah. Open the door. One second. The mall in Pécourt, just on the outskirts of the island of Montreal, was built in 1963. The mall has undergone various expansions throughout the years. It has seen its share of heydays spanning from the 70s all the way through the 90s. Sadly, what we are seeing now is this once busy shopping area virtually more than half empty. With over 68 possible retail stores, the mall has barely 14 now, which includes small kiosks throughout. With quiet elevator music playing softly in the background and the lack of shoppers milling about, there is a sense of eeriness and great sadness to see what is happening here right now. In a recent small business survey here in Canada, it concludes that 1 in 3 businesses in Canada say they cannot survive the current coronavirus pandemic conditions for more than a month. According to the Canadian Federation of Independent Businesses, 60% of small businesses have seen a significant drop in sales, with more than a third reporting a reduction greater than 75%. More than half of small firms have begun laying off staff, with a quarter reporting they have already been forced to lay off their entire workforce. At this rate, the only way to prevent massive additional unemployment is for government to introduce a much larger wage subsidy program. Many stores have closed in Canada over the summer as brands are hit hard in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. While it's almost impossible to quantify the number of permanent closures at this time, it appears hundreds of individual store locations in Canada will be vacated by the end of this fall. The list of store closures include independent retailers as well as medium and larger chains, which have either filed for bankruptcy protection or are simply shutting stores like the ones once occupying this mall amid financial turmoil. Prior to COVID-19, many retail chains in Canada were struggling amid debt, and the pandemic has in effect sped up the process by creating further financial challenges. Analysts will continue to follow what is happening in the Canadian retail industry as more businesses hopefully start to reopen following closures due to COVID-19. On the other hand, there is good news for some retailers worth mentioning. Besides grocery and pharmacy retailers, which have been sales spikes while being permitted to stay open during the pandemic, some strong brands are also seeing strong sales. That includes luxury brands in the Toronto and Vancouver markets, which are said to be seeing record-breaking sale numbers in some instances. Some of these brands are connecting directly with customers through apps such as WeChat and are selling out of some product categories that are being coveted by loyal brand fans. As you could see, there were no shoppers inside the mall that we could have interviewed. Store owners were very reluctant to speak to us. The true devastation of small businesses throughout mostly empty this COVID-19 crisis cannot be immediately estimated. However, looking at the mostly empty parking lot, which on a very busy day can support up to 1,120 vehicles, one can only hope for an early end to this crisis and look forward to brighter days ahead.